What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 17 of the Rise to Glory here with Gibraltar Apex. And today, well, I've got for you guys another live com against Manchester 62. Last episode we played them. Today we're going to be taking them on in the league again. If you missed last episode, as always, go check it out. There has been, I believe, 8 games since the last episode, so let's get straight into those. And if you missed last episode, it was, of course, a free draw against Manchester 62 FC. It was a pretty good live com. The result was somewhat disappointing, and we got off to kind of the worst possible start following that game, as we actually lost against College Europa, a team who, well, when we started this save, were a dominant force in Gibraltar. They've certainly not that anymore. They've really petered off. But in this game here, they did beat us. A penalty for Duarte ended up being a deciding goal. Connolly got one just before half-time. However, coming out into the second half, we conceded just 48 minutes into the game, and that was pretty disappointing. Anyway, the next result was against Lincoln Redhams, a team who have been struggling a lot this year, and Griffo got a hat-trick. Pretty unusual for a left midfielder to get a hat-trick, but this guy, Neil, he's been around the club for a while. He's actually having one of his best seasons so far. Perhaps his assists tally kind of lets him down a little bit, but 9 goals for him is a pretty decent return for a player who is currently playing in his 3rd season at the club. The next result was against Glasgow United, a team who, well, at one point really were our main title rivals. Going into this game, I actually had kind of something to deal with, and that was the fact that Ben Connolly was injured, and obviously we've got a fair few injuries to our strikers. So for this game, up front, we went with Sanchez Rull and Ben Connolly, who, as I mentioned, went off injured. He had a twisted knee, I want to say. I can't actually remember, let's check. Yeah, it was a twisted knee. So he was out for 3 weeks, so I had to make a change. I brought on Jack Peachman, of course, and he came off the bench and he grabbed 2 goals for us. So this guy, he's doing pretty well. He's actually improved a little bit. And to be honest, as you guys will see coming up, he's been in fine form. He's got 5 goals and 2 assists and 3 man of the matches in just 7 league appearances, making his first kind of real splash on the scene, his first real impact in the side. And, well, it all started with that result against Glasgow United. Anyway, the next result was a really disappointing one, more so than perhaps any other this season, and it was actually a defeat in the Rock Cup 2nd round against Gibraltar United. It was a game that, to be honest, we probably deserved to win. You look at the stats, we did deserve to win. However, we did have a sending off. Guerrero lost his head completely. I believe it was an off-the-ball incident from a cross that came into their box. We kind of sent our centre-backs forward for a set piece, and he just lost his head. I might even see if we can find it. Let's have a look. I only viewed it in 2D at the time, so I'm kind of curious to see what actually happened. But yeah, it was an incident from a set piece, I do believe. So we'll see if we can find it. Bit of investigatory work here. I have no idea what it's going to look like in the match engine. It might have even been from this corner. But basically the ref stopped play. Yeah, it was. It was a bizarre one. I mean, you can't really see a lot there, can you, in 3D? I almost want to... What does he do here? What does it... It looks like he maybe pushes the guy in the back. I assume it was violent. Well, it wasn't a straight red, so it couldn't have been violent conduct. Either way, he got sent off. It screwed us over, and in the 92nd minute, yes, the 92nd, I cried when I saw it go in. Gibraltar United got a winner that knocked us out of the Rock Cup, which was pretty disappointing. This year, I mean, the aim was to win the league again, of course, but I really wanted to try and get some domestic dominance, and that is something that we've simply not achieved in both the Senior League Cup and the Rock Cup this year. Anyway, the next result, a bore draw, 0-0 against St. Joseph's. Not a bad result. We probably were the better team. But at the end of the day, we didn't really show any kind of killer edge in front of goal. Anyway, to round up the kind of results going into today's episode, we got actually some pretty decent wins. The first one against Europa Point, 4-2. Griffo grabbing a brace. Guerrero coming back from his suspension, grabbing a goal. We actually went 4-0 up in that game before conceding too late on, and there was part of me that was a little bit worried when 2 flew in 2 minutes, and with 9 minutes left on the clock, it looked like they could get back into it. However, we did hold on in the end for that important result. Anyway, the next game was against Gibraltar United, the team who knocked us out the Rock Cup. Fairly even game, really, but in the end, Jack Peachman's double goals made a difference for us. We came back from behind in this game to win 3-1. And last but not least, in this run of fixtures, we beat Lynx 3-0. Ben Connolly, Jack Peachman, and Anthony Hernandez with the goals. There is a goal I want to show here, just because it's amazing. It's a Jack Peachman special. That's all I'm going to say about it. When you see this in the 38th minute, you're going to applaud. That's how good it is. Right, so here we go. So Griffo whips in the ball, and I think what you'll see is Peachman have a long shot, and it hits the post, if I remember correctly. We'll see how good my memory is, I guess. But yeah, we've been doing okay in this run of results. So here it is. He hits the post. The ball goes back to the keeper who kicks it and it just hits him and goes in. Brilliant goal. What a finish. I'm not sure what's up with this celebration. Not a fan of it. Sort it out, Jack. But yeah, that was a good result there. All in all, I'm pretty happy with these results. I mean, it's disappointing to get knocked out of the Rock Cup. To only lose one and draw one, in the last 7 league games, it's not like kind of, I don't know, it's not the incredible form I was perhaps hoping for at the start of the year. I was really hoping we were just going to dominate the league, but that hasn't happened this year yet. But nevertheless, it's kind of put us in prime position to kind of, I guess, retain our title. Today, as I mentioned, we're taking on Manchester 62. They actually now sit 7 points behind us. They've been struggling of late. If we just have a quick look at their fixtures, our main title rivals, you can see here that they've gone through in the Rock Cup, but they have drawn and lost a fair few games of late. They actually lost 4-1 to Lincoln Redimps, who, well, are still rock bottom of the table, 7 points from safety. So that's a massive defeat for them, I guess, to have. And I'm kind of hoping that going into this game, we can inflict some more misery. We'll extend the lead to 10 points at the top of the table with 7 games left. In fact, no, it'll be with 6 games left. So that would put us in really good positioning, I guess, to try and win the title with a few games to spare. But anyway, there is something else that's happened since the last episode, and that is, of course, Regen Day. We have had a few regens come through. I'm not going to go through them all, but there's a few that definitely deserve a nod. The first one here, Norman Andrews. Very nice little 15-year-old, this guy. Good centre mid, good leadership, like the look of him. I like the fact that he can improve a lot in the future, and he's consistent. His mentals maybe let him down a little bit, a player who I might look to tutor sooner rather than later. Jamie Smith, also a very good regen that we got this window. Not the best technically by any means, but fairly good mentals for a player who's 15. And whilst his physicals aren't kind of absolutely standout, they'll kind of do a job, I think, for us at the level we play at. Anyway, there is one more regen I have to talk about, and the reason I've not talked about him yet is actually because he's in the first team. And this is kind of unprecedented. I didn't expect to get a player like this through. But here we have, and feel free to formally introduce yourself to Felix Oliveira, or I guess it's Oliveira. We'll call him Felix. I like Felix better because he's like a cat between the sticks for us in goal. But anyway, this guy's 15 years old. He looks absolutely incredible. Now, you're probably wondering, how come you've got a Spanish kind of regen in your team? Well, you'll see here first and foremost, he has spent long enough in Gibraltar to get nationality and he is awaiting paperwork. But the reason I've managed to get a Spanish regen at all is actually because of the staff that we have here. I can never find the staff screen anymore. Is it just all? It is. So because we have Spanish staff members, there's actually a random chance that every regen day you have players who take up the nationality of your staff, be it chairman, be it managers, be it coaches. So in our case, we have Morente and Hassan Hamid Mohamed, who are both Spanish, and as a result, we got this guy come in. Now, the advantage of getting a Spanish player come into the team is that, well, with Gibraltar, because it's only a peninsula with a population of 30,000 people, it has I can't remember what the actual value of it is, but it's essentially a number between 1 and 200 that kind of resembles how good and the likelihood that team is at naturally producing good players. The bigger the country, the better chance they have of producing better regens, as well as kind of their overall standing in football. So for example, Brazil, the reason they have good regens is because they have this good value in this regen production category. With Gibraltar, because of the low population, because, well, they're not very good at football, the chance of getting a good regen isn't that great. However, because we can get a few Spanish players hop across the border to join us, players like Oliveira, or Felix, as I'm now going to call him from now on, have a chance to appear, and that is exactly what's happened. This guy looks really good. He's Spanish. I don't know how good his potential is really going to be, but he pretty much is our first choice keeper at 15, which is pretty decent. Really determined with 20 determination. Fairly fast in terms of his speed and in terms of his rushing out. All in all, though, at 15 years old, looks like he could be a very talented player. His potential ability right now is superb rating for the senior team. Obviously, we don't have very good players, so it's impossible to know how good he's going to be. But I'm hoping he's a player who perhaps can be our first choice keeper for a number of years. And maybe if we have to, we might have to sell him on. But nevertheless, looks like a good player, good mentals, really like the determination. And yeah, excited to see how he gets on in his second senior appearance of his career. So anyway, let's get into this Manchester 62 FC game. Really excited by Felix Oliveira. I'm going to just call him Felix because I don't know if it's Oliveira or Oliveira. Who knows? Answers on a postcard. I know someone a few episodes ago. It was a lot of episodes ago. Was like, Jack, I'm going broke trying to send you postcards, and to that person I apologise. That was never my intention. Anyway, looking at our team for today's game, I think this is the team I'm going to go with. Do I want to go with this team? I do. This is the team we're going to go with. I'm going to stick with Peachman up front. As I mentioned, 4 goals in 6. Hard to drop him. Also nice to have Ben Connolly back in the side. Hopefully he can have an impact today. This is a pretty big game for us. As I mentioned, if we win it, we will go 10 points clear at the top with 6 games left. I don't want to say that would be the league wrapped up there and then, but it would certainly put us in a very, very, very good position to do it, and we'd have to completely bottle it to kind of lose the title. But at the same time, I can't kind of sit here expecting to win. That's kind of the attitude that I had, I guess, mentally going into this season. As this season's proved, we are anything but unbeatable. We've lost disappointingly in both domestic competitions. We, of course, drew last time out against Manchester 62. I believe the episode before that, we lost against Glasgow United, and the episode before that, we actually drew against College Europa. Now, granted, with these live comms, I do tend to do the games against the bigger teams, the ones that really matter. But at the same time, I want to win live comms, particularly against teams like Manchester 62. And, well, we need to defend here, and we haven't. I'm going to switch back to 2D because I forgot to do that. But Giovanni with a goal. Actually, Giovanni, a player I looked to sign. And the reason I looked to sign him in January was actually just to weaken Manchester 62. Unfortunately for us, he wanted £500 a week. And I told him to stick it where the sun don't shine. And he wasn't very happy about that. And, well, as you might imagine, he didn't end up joining us as a result of that. But I'm hoping we can bounce back into this game. We do have possession here. Roberts to Griffo. Options ahead. Goes out wide to Reyes. Who whips it in, and it's Peachman with the goal. Take a bow, son. 7th goal of the season. A really nicely worked goal. Reyes with the ball whipped in from the right-hand side. And the towering number 27. Well, he gets on the end of it. Reyes whips it in. And it's just a volley, bang, pick that, what a finish that is. Take a bow, my son. We bounce back immediately, a really, really good response there. Halts any momentum that perhaps Manchester 62 might have got off the back of their goal. And puts us in a fairly decent position here. Although, looking at the stats, you'd have to say Manchester 62, they've probably been the better side here. Although we do have the ball going up to Hernandez, options in the middle, whips it in. Peachman's there again, hits the woodwork, going to be cleared away, but only as far as Roberts. We will now get to Reyes, and unfortunately, that is all she wrote for that highlight. That was a really good chance, hitting the woodwork. But it looks like at half-time, we are going to go in 1-1. Could be a lot worse. I'm going to tell the players I'm not happy with that performance. I want to see them get fired up. I want to see them angry. I want to see them mean, and I'm hoping in this second half, we're going to see, a more determined, a more ruthless, I guess, performance. I feel like ruthless has become my buzzword in this save, but it's kind of what I want to see, and that is exactly what I want to see. Stephen Clark getting a goal for us there, a left back who we signed halfway through this season, really been in contention and competition, I guess, with Glenn Gilbert for that first team spot. He complained a little bit about lack of first team football. I decided to stick him in at left back, and to be honest, he's done a very, very good job for us. And, well, the goal there is a kind of sign of just the kind of thing he can deliver, even in the box, the left back. And we will have another set piece here. Roberts at the edge. Don't give the ball away here, because otherwise the counter-attack could be on. That's okay. He got the ball away from danger. Now Fenley going to try and do something with it. Reyes to Hernandez. Options in the middle. Whips it in. Peachman's there. Saved, but the rebound goes in. It's 3-1. It's his 8th goal of the season. He's having a laugh. He is having a laugh. 67 minutes gone. Hernandez, what a ball that is. Really lethal ball across the box. Keeper, to be honest, makes an absolutely incredible initial save. Just isn't bailed out by his defenders for the rebound. And in the end, it's a goal there. It's 3-1. And this should be this game all said and done. Although, as I say that, they now have a chance. I'm going to make a few changes here. Tristan Sargent not having the best game, so we're going to sub him off. Ben Connolly also struggling a little bit, so we're going to bring in Sanchez Rule. And yeah, we'll see how we get on here. It's 3-1. We're looking okay, but I don't want to concede now. Conceding now would mean squeaky bum time for the last 15 minutes of the game. And, well, we put in a tackle there. Now can we break away? Reyes up to Connolly, who has pace. He has options in the middle as well. Peachman looking for his hat-trick. Hernandez out wide to Reyes. Ball whipped in. Peachman's there. He will score. That is his hat-trick, assuming it's not offside, and it isn't. 4-1 here. Manchester 62 getting absolutely destroyed. And what a hat-trick. We're not the best stats by any means, but he's quite a good target man. He's got good pace, he's got good height. And that's all you really need at this level. And, well, he's been a delight on the pitch today. It's 4-1. And, well, with 5 minutes left, it's game over. And this is the kind of performance I wanted to see last episode out when we really needed the win against Manchester 62. Not that we don't need the win today, but this is more of a... I guess the pressure was off going into this game. But nevertheless, still a very, very pleasing performance. Going to tell the players that 4-1 there. Peachman with a hat-trick. We took our chances. And to be honest, our half-time team talk worked wonders. We now go 7 matches in a row without losing, which is really, really good. And yeah, what more can you say? That is a great result to wrap off this episode. In terms of when we'll be back for the next one, I might come back for the Glasses United game. That may well be the game that decides the title, and if we win it on that game. You can see actually Glasses, they've dropped way off the pace, although they could still catch it with Manchester 62 realistically. But all in all, really good performance there. We will wrap up this episode with a win. 47 points. We sit 10 points clear at the top of the table. Really, really pleasing performance as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Unfortunately, Felix could not keep another clean sheet for the second game in a row, but I'm interested to see how this guy develops. Of course, we've got some other prospects in our ranks who are players definitely worth shouting about, who, you never know, might kind of make an impact for us in a few years' time. But Felix looks like he's going to be the first of the real gems, players produced at our academy who can have a real impact. But yeah, that's all from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, smash the like button. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.